to come back to them, but I would like to introduce Chad White from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. He's going to talk about some of the programs that they have available. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning. I have just 5 minutes to tell you about a tool that might be useful for you. Contrary to what it says up here on the screen, it's not a grant program, so it's kind of, don't think of an elephant, don't think of a grant. It's up there already, but it's not a grant program, and I'll get to that in just a minute. We are eager to support the work of BAAQMD with the Climate Tech Finance program that I have. The FIT is something that we're still figuring out how we can support the work you're doing, and I hope that I can clarify that a little bit in a couple of minutes. But we are looking for networks of collaboration and how to support them as well. So here's my starting slide. Climate Tech Finance is a climate initiative law launched to incentivize technology deployment that reduces greenhouse gas emissions. That's the focus of it, and there are 3 mechanisms. One, helping to accelerate emerging technologies in the marketplace, so we might be a little bit earlier in the deployment pipeline than some other things in BAAQMD, but if there's a new technology out there that can reduce GHGs, that's what we're trying to help bring to the market. We want to reduce the risk through technology vendors and technology users that are trying to bring these new lower carbon and carbon lowering technologies to market, and to provide access to capital to help people make the sales and buy them. This is an inventory of the Bay Area's greenhouse gas emissions from 2015. They're broken down into large sector bands. I wanted to put this up here to show that what we're trying to do is think about where the carbon lowering technologies are that can take a bite out of the Bay Area's greenhouse gas footprint. I listed some technologies here on the right for the different sectors, and I bolded and slightly enlarged the ones that I thought might be good overlaps with things that people in BAAQMD might be thinking about. These are technologies that we see as emerging in the marketplace that could contribute in various ways to energy system improvements and greenhouse gas footprint reduction. So I don't want to go into them in too much detail. Deborah just made the point that these slides will be available after the fact, so if you want to study this more. We don't have a specific or closed set of technologies. So if you have something you think could use one of the financing mechanisms I'll tell you about in just a second, I'm happy to talk with you. In fact, I'd like to talk to all of you. In fact, I brought a whole bunch of business cards because I like to give one to every one of you. We're eager to try to figure out how to do this, and our goal is to grease the wheel. This is not a complicated program, and it's designed not to be because we want to get technology out there. I put up that we're interested in grids of different scales. This is maybe just a little bit of an aside, but I thought I'd throw it in here anyway, that when we're talking about grids of different scales, we're trying to think about things that are microgrids, and we're trying to work with industrial sites to put microgrids in place, or as I illustrated here, it's sort of an eco-block concept of a bunch of houses tied together. That's exciting for us. We'd like to see what we can do to help finance that. Things that are at the building scale, or things even at the sub-building scale, are all that are of potential interest. And for what it's worth, I think these terms have been around for a while. If you haven't seen them before, great. I'm happy to introduce you to something new. There's no real clarity or agreement on what the different words mean or the scales, so I just offered my best illustration, and I'll slip that in as a caveat to, oh, sorry, I'm not speaking to the mic enough. We also just had an event 2 weeks ago where we brought in some energy storage vendors, and this is part of what we do through what we call our Climate Tech Network, which functions or serves events here in this room quarterly. So we brought vendors in of containerized solar generator, solar battery generator sets, of high quality batteries that can be used in energy storage at various scales, and a manufacturer, producer of virtual power plant software. So we're trying to bring these into contact with the user base and figure out what we can do to accelerate it. How do we do that? We've got 2 mechanisms. We are working with a partnership, through a partnership with the California Infrastructure and Economic Development Bank, which also goes by the name iBank. It is a state bank that funds public infrastructure with direct loans, and we can offer loans at what we hope are competitive rates. The Air District's putting in a little subsidy to help sweeten the pot, and the loans can be up to $30 million for projects and up to 30 years. The caveat is that it can't be used to build housing, but it can be used in clever ways, we think, to retrofit existing buildings. and particular municipal buildings are fine. So if they're commercial and municipal buildings, those are great. If it's residential buildings that are multifamily, maybe. If it's residential scale, we're probably not really operating in that scale right now, unfortunately, but we still love to have a conversation. On the flip side, for small businesses, we have a loan guarantee program that's designed to enhance their credit when they go out to the commercial lending market and either get the bank to extend credit in a technology area they don't normally do, or to maybe give them a slightly better deal, ideally less collateral on a loan. This is my last slide. This is a new program, and Climate Tech Finance has these two instruments right now, a loan and a loan guarantee, but I like to think of it as a platform. Sort of like we're sitting in the tech industry. Tech industries have platforms and build products on top of them. Those are our first two products, and we're open to ideas and feedback. We want to figure out how to get this right over time. We don't want to be the man in the buggy with the carrot that the horse is not taking when there are a lot of other incentives around. So we want to understand best what BAARUN is thinking about, how we can serve BAARUN, and what instruments are useful to you. So please let me know. And if you find any of this interesting or think that some of the financial support might be useful, please let me know. I will try to stick around at least through the first break with business cards.
Great. Thank you, Chad. And as you can see, his contact information is on the screen if you're on the webinar, so you can contact him through that. And he is very interested in talking to everyone. So everyone send Chad an email today. Thank you.